Hello, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose. And we're going to start with our special meeting, first of the year. If I could have everyone settle in, that would be great. My name's Matt Breaker, and I've been suggested to move the microphone away. I'll do that. I have the honor and privilege of leading our meetings in our club for this Rotary year, so welcome to everyone. I want to start off. We're going to have a special meeting, and then we're going to have a regular meeting. But since we're starting with a special meeting, let me start by saying that I want to say thank you. Well.
All right, great. Welcome.
Excellent, thank you.
What are we saying? What are we doing here?
There we go. Okay, yes. I'd like to say thank you to today's greeting line, which was our fabulous Interact and RILA committee, which is led by Jason Laker and Steve Preminger. They're in the house, which I just love. And today we've got our traveling mics. We've got Simone Lundquist, who we'll be introducing shortly. And we've got Carolyn Wallace, who I've met is terrific. So they're both here. Simone, we're going to hear more about you, but who's your sponsor?
Hi. My sponsor is Ray Watts.
Terrific. Well, we're going to meet you in proper fashion in a few minutes. You don't look like Carolyn Wallace, so
thank you.
Please introduce this. Yes, thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, President Matt. I'm Scott Hughes. My sponsor is the wonderful Vice Mayor Pam Foley, and I hope everyone's having a good day today.
Yes. Well, thank you. Welcome, and thanks for taking on the traveling mics. Rotarians with guests, please stand up. We'll get the traveling mic to you and do some introductions. We're going to try to go left to right because that makes it easier. I will follow Matt Robin right over here. We've got Arthur. Or no, we're going to go past President Heather. Take it away.
Hi, President Matt. I'm pleased to present my neighbor and friend, Tony Rossetti. He's a professor at San Jose State University, first time in the Rotary Room.
Wonderful. Welcome. Okay, right over here. Yes, hello.
Hi, President Matt. Stephanie Lixay, sponsor Larry Stone. I would love to introduce Michael Gallagher. He's actually visiting and just applied for membership here in Downtown Rotary, but he's a Rotarian in Sunnyvale.
Music to our ears. Fabulous. Welcome. I think we've got Arthur right over here.
Hello, President Matt. I'm very proud to introduce my guest, Mary Fuller. She's a lawyer, an engineer, and head of the regional office of the Patent and Trademark Office, which is right next door.
Fabulous. Welcome. So glad to see you here.
Hello, Mr.
Ron
President.
Drake. Hello, Ron.
Ron Drake. My sponsor is Bill Barron. I have two guests with me today, Rob Lau, who is the founder of Idea to IPO, and Jessica, who just went to get something else to eat, who is an AI marketing person.
Perfect for our speaker today. Love it.
I think that's why she's here.
I figured, yes. I put two and two together. Here we go. Steve Ellenberg in the house. Hello, Steve.
President Matt, you're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Such a great. Isn't Matt doing a great job? Oh my God.
Checks in the mail, Steve.
Yeah,
Checks in the mail.
Thank you. Thank you. My guest today is a former colleague of mine and an AI entrepreneur with Legion Law, which is going to unemploy half of the lawyers, so no one will be able to complain about lawyers anymore. Arthur Rothrock.
Welcome. So glad to see you. And I see your lovely bride is here today. Hello, Susan. Here we go. Yes, hello.
President Matt, my name is Evgenia Murfield. My sponsor is Mark Lazzarini, and I have with me today my friend and guest, Shaila Malicia with RDL Construction. She's a marketing director there.
Terrific. So glad you're here today. Dave, hi.
Good morning, President Breaker.
Okay, so formal, yes.
I am happy to introduce past San Jose Rotarian Larry Donatomi, who's
I
enjoying...
love it. There he is in the house. So glad you're here.
Larry's enjoying retirement in Aptos, but he's also here because he recruited our speaker today.
That's great. Terrific. Should we take it to Steve Prouty over there? Hello, Steve. No?
I can go ahead and do it.
Go for
Well, good afternoon, President Matt. Great to see you. We have some representatives from Lincoln High School today, and first I'd like to introduce you to Vince Mora, who is a counselor there, who works with the students on outside opportunities. So he is helping us get really, the school really involved again with ELC. And then the other person I'd like to introduce is the club president for their Ryla Club, their Interact Club, Ian Gomez. And Ian will go ahead and introduce his officers.
Terrific. Hello, Ian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ian. Like you all heard, I am the Interact Club president of Lincoln Interact, and I have here our vice president, Caitlin Benedict, and our event coordinator, Alicia Irfan. We are so excited to be here and meet all of you and really learn the Rotary spirit and motto. Thank you so much.
So glad you're here. I just want to say, Interact, amazing program. I'm going off script to tell this quick little story. I was at the the West Coast Cloud Conference this year. They brought a variety of speakers. A young girl came into the room, packed house, hundreds of people, told a story how she was new to her high school, couldn't find her way. A man came up to her at a volunteer program, tapped her on the shoulder, introduced herself, and brought her into Interact, said he changed her life forever. That man was our own Dave Peterson. Great story. So, yes. Right over here. Hello, Simone.
Hello again. I have many guests here. I would love to introduce Lisa Caputo, Paul Caputo, Patty Manzo, Dr. Clyde Horn, and Stan, and Prince Jordan, and Nani, and Holly. These are all my guests today.
I love it. So great for your introduction. Terrific. Okay. Any other guests? Okay, well, thank you to all the Rotarians and our guests for being here today. New members, lifeblood of the club, so thanks for making that happen. Okay, let's get on to official business if we could. All right, today we're having a special meeting today. Today, pursuant to our club bylaws, we're going to hold a vote on the proposed partnership with Diane Brandenburg and the Seeds of Peace Monument. A few comments beforehand. Last spring, both the club and foundation boards were approached with this unique opportunity to partner with Diane to bring what would be known as the Rotary Seeds of Peace Monument to a highly visible location, Arena Green West. Both boards voted to bring this proposal forward for a club vote, and that is what we are doing today. The proposed Rotary contribution of $300,000 was carefully reviewed, and both boards confirmed it would not impact our committee funding or community grants, and our next big project process will be moving forward in January. Before we vote, I do want to review the motion. It is printed on your ballot, but I want to quickly go through it. And then I'm going to summarize the differing perspectives that have been shared with me and other board members. So let's just do a quick run through of the motion here. That the Rotary Club of San Jose join Diane Brandenburg in bringing the Seeds of Peace Monument, which she has commissioned to the City of San Jose for placement at Arena Green West as follows. 1, partner with Diane to conduct a capital campaign of up to $1.5 million to complete the process, and it's contingent on written agreements that ensure we will not be responsible for any shortfalls. Contribute $300,000 from the Rotary Foundation funds towards the capital campaign for the project, leaving $1.2 million to be raised. 3, the Rotary Foundation to serve as fiscal agent for all funds raised by the capital campaign until the monument is installed, with a 5% administrative fee to Rotary to cover administrative costs. And 4, that the Rotary Club of San Jose will receive the naming rights to the monument. I add that the City of San Jose requires a maintenance fund. If the city allows Rotary to manage this fund under terms that are acceptable to Rotary, then we will establish and administer the maintenance fund using the funds we contribute. If the terms are not acceptable to Rotary, then a maintenance fund will instead be managed by the city or another designated entity, such as the Guadalupe Conservancy, and our contribution will go directly to the project. Folks, throughout this process, our number one priority has been to ensure transparency and give every Rotarian the opportunity to ask questions, share their views, and be fully informed. To that end, we created a detailed FAQ, we posted it on the bulletin on the website, and updated it regularly as new questions arose. So rather than opening the floor for debate today, I am going to summarize the range of viewpoints that have been expressed and shared with me and other board members. I will start with the concerns, several of which were addressed along the way in the FAQs. Concerns raised. The project was not initiated by our club. The monument lacks direct service impact and represents too large of a financial commitment for something symbolic. The project prioritizes symbolism over service, which will dilute our service mission. Our focus should be on maintaining existing Rotary projects and landmarks. Members had no input in the design. Some have expressed dislike of the design, and the project will proceed regardless of Rotary's involvement. Reasons to support the motion as they have been shared with me and others. The project aligns with Rotary's core values. Peace has been one of Rotary's 7 areas of focus for more than a century. In fact, it's on the cover of this month's Rotary magazine. The monument would give Rotary highly visible recognition in a prominent location in downtown San Jose. Public art invites conversation, which has its own civic value, and there is a potential for ongoing impact through future programming and global peace initiatives led by what would be formed a new San Jose Rotary Seeds of Peace Committee. Rotary can and should be nimble when the right opportunity arises, and this project has been unanimously approved by the City Council and by all relevant city commissions. As the 9th largest Rotary club in the world, our philosophy should be yes and. We can and are moving forward with our next big project, and an effort is underway to repair the play garden. We don't need to choose and give up this unique opportunity. Diane chose Rotary as her partner in recognition of our history and our continuing role in San Jose. This partnership strengthens our relationship with a respected and impactful community leader. And last, this is a $3.5 million project in which Rotary will receive the naming rights for a $300,000 contribution, less than 10% of the total cost. Finally, I'd like to say on behalf for myself and for the boards, we are grateful to everyone who has taken time to learn about this opportunity, ask thoughtful questions, and share your views. Every perspective expressed has contributed to a more informed and meaningful decision for our club. And with that, I invite you to use the ballots that have been given to vote. And when they're done, please raise your hand, and we have some inspectors of election, as we are obligated to do under the bylaws, who will collect them. And then we will announce the vote at the conclusion of today's meeting. So wait a few minutes for that. Okay. With that, I'm going to adjourn our special meeting, and I'm going to now start. Welcome to meeting number 5,498. Let's get back to having some Rotary business and some fun. Are we ready, folks? Okay, here we go. And as we've been doing, we're going to introduce a new member today. That new member is Simone Lundquist, who's here with lots of guests. Simone, come on up, Simone. Let's hear it for Simone, folks. Her sponsor is Ray Watts, and Ray Watts is a Red Badger. How good is that? Red Badgers sponsoring new members. I love it, I love it. Okay, so as she's coming up here, we've got some fun facts about her on the screen, at least we did. You can come on all the way here, Simone, you can come over here if you like. And I think you guys know the routine by now. We've got the biography on the website. We've got it in the bulletin. We've got it out in the lobby. It gives the full bio, background stories. But we want to create some connections between people, maybe make their entree into the club a little easier. So in order to do that, we're going to find things in common. I think we know the game. Everyone please stand on your feet. Studies show that standing every 15 minutes is very good for the cardiovascular system. So I'm going to ask a series of either-or questions. If you have the same answer as Simone, remain standing. If you don't, take a seat, but keep listening, because you might have other things in common with her. Are we ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, here we go. And I asked some of these questions. They're somewhat tailored to Simone, as well as some future speakers. You'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, first one. What's your preference? Van Halen or the Beatles? For those of you
Van Halen.
Perfect. Van Halen. Love it. Perfect. I was going to give the caveat, just in case everyone knows Van Halen is a rock band, folks. Oh my God, look at this.
I'm a rocker, man. I'm a drummer.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Would you rather watch a sporting event or read a book?
Sporting event.
Okay. Would you rather take an ocean vacation or be at a mountain retreat?
Mountain retreat.
Let's do one more. This is risky. We're rolling it. We're doing it. Karaoke or a board game?
Board game.
I love it. Perfect. If you are still standing, you've hit the jackpot. Please come up and introduce yourself to Simone at the end of the meeting. If you had anything else in common with her, please introduce yourself. Invite her to a committee. Sit with her at the next week's lunch. And with that, let's give our traditional Rotary welcome to Simone. Thank you. Take it away.
Thank you so much for this warm welcome. It's an honor to join this amazing club, and I'm thrilled that I can join you guys making some good waves in this world and bringing more joy and happiness here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Here we go. We'll catch that. Sorry, I failed. Next up, we're going to get an update from environmental sustainability and their chair, Megan Flute. Show some love to Megan. It's Van Halen, folks. Now, I must just preface it with, I said, Megan's going to come up here for, which way are we going here? It's going to give us an update on, this shows my bias, environmental sustainability. I was like, okay, what will her walk-up song be? John Denver, maybe some folk thing or something like that. And then I call her and she says, oh no, I'm a rocker. I want Van Halen. So show some love to Megan, folks.
All right. All right, hello, I'm Megan Fluke. My sponsor is Rod Dearden, one of the most committed environmental leaders out there, and also, I believe, Rod, are you here? If not, the founder of, I believe, of our committee. I'm here on behalf of the Environmental Sustainability Committee. Our co-chair is Sean Girth, who's the executive director of Vegilution. Hey, if you're a member of the Environmental Sustainability Committee, would you stand up and wave? We have so many fantastic members. Hello. So our vision is a carbon neutral Rotary San Jose. I want to thank everyone who's visited our table since we first started doing monthly tabling before our meetings. We started doing this in May of this year. We've been providing environmental education and celebrating the actions that you are already taking. Our focus for the first few months was food and waste. This is a cover of Rotary magazine in April. It's crazy that a third of food in the United States gets thrown away. Eat up today. Our survey showed that Rotarians are already taking great actions. These are the top choices when we asked Rotarians over our first few months, what are you already doing? Plant-based meals, bringing reusable mugs, and composting all tied for first place. You might have seen that we've been focusing in on electrification for the past few months. Why now? In short, it makes sense to electrify right now because it's better for your health. Federal tax credits are about to expire at the end of 2025, and it reduces greenhouse gas emissions. All right, so celebration time. If you haven't already visited our table, this is a little bit of what it looks like. Many of you are already taking action, and these actions are worth celebrating. So if you're taking any of these actions, I invite you to stand up. Please stand up if you have you already switched to green electricity through your electrical company. Who's doing this? You could do it. Yep, be brave, stay standing, great job. Do you have a portable induction cooktop or an induction cooktop at all? Stand up if so. Yep. How about an electric water heater? An electric or induction stove? An electric washer or dryer? Home solar? All right, can we thank our Rotarians who are already taking so much action on the environment? And if you weren't standing, that's okay. Feel free to turn to your neighbor and ask, tell me more. How did you go about doing this? These are the kinds of conversations that we're having. So our theme for the next few months is going to be on garden. Oh, I love all the conversations that are happening already. Good. But I'm going to stop you. Stop right now. So our topic for the next few months is going to be gardening and habitat. So please come by and say hello. We'll be tabling on November 19th. You can also take action by joining our Go Green team launching in January. This is being led by two of our committee members, Candace Rooney and Kathy Wiley, who are on our committee. We'll be meeting each month on the third Thursday for 4 months over Zoom to pick up tips and support one another to make your home, your workplace, and life more environmentally friendly. So if you have some curiosity of, ooh, I don't know, how can I do more? This is a really great place to test out ideas. Rotary San Jose, Go Green, Rotary San Jose's Go Green team over the past couple years is a big reason why Rotary won Climate Champion of the Year from the city of San Jose earlier this year. And lastly, join our committee. We meet typically over Zoom on the third Monday of the month at 5 o'clock. And we could use a few extra set of hands and some more energy as we consider our next big project in 2026. Thank you so much.
As I think everyone knows, we're giving out challenge coins with the Rotary theme on one side and the year's Showtime theme on there. Megan's done an amazing job leading this committee. And thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, it's time for the Rotary Spotlight, folks. Our club, as I think you know, is filled with incredible Rotarians, folks who are never at the podium. They don't seek the limelight, but they are doing amazing things and having incredible impacts in our community and our world on behalf of Rotary. And we shine the spotlight on some of them to get to know them a little bit, what they've done in the Rotary world, but to get to know them personally. We're going to get to know one of them today. Yeah, you know it, folks. She is bold, she is brave and adventurous. She is an innovator and a doer. Born in Detroit, she graduated from the University of Michigan and has a degree in business. After graduation, she came to California to raise a family. She is the proud mother of 2 and a grandmother to 5. In 1990, she started her own business, a leadership training academy. What began as a small business focused in San Jose is now global in its impact. She and her team have traveled to Asia, India, and Europe to teach leadership skills to engineers, team leaders, and C-suite holders. She joined our club in 2011. Her adventurous spirit brought her to the International Service Committee. And with that committee, she has traveled to Panama, Vietnam, and twice to El Salvador. She has personally funded international projects that put a roof on an elementary school in El Salvador and brought a toilet to a small village out in El Salvador. For Sue Smith, it's not just about writing the check. She then visits the school, buys toys for the children, plays with the children and gets to know them. She has helped fund a scholarship program that teaches El Salvadorian young adults English and then places them in job centers in that country. For years, she has produced and underwritten our program that is on every seat at the holiday luncheon. She's gone on wheelchair trips, international conventions, and is a regular participant in CHC's gala dinner. She is, of course, a Silver Endowment Fellow, and by any standard, she is an incredible Rotarian. Sue Smith, give it up for the fabulous Sue Smith. And I gotta add, she's just done it again, folks. She heard about the Washington schools' great works that they're doing. She reached out to the committee and said, I want to talk to those teachers. I need to know what their wish list is. She went out with other Rotarians and herself, made that happen. Sue, you know you're one of my favorites. You're just fabulous, so thank you. Okay, let's move. We got a little time here. So let's see what's been going on in the Rotary world out there. The CHC, which Sue Smith is a member of, every year they auction off at our gala a fabulous dinner. Last year they auctioned off a dinner for 10. Past President Carl Silker, right over here, and his wife Kathy purchased that dinner. It was at the Gills home. It was held a couple weeks ago. It was a smashing success. Look at that beautiful table at the Gills' lovely home. The food was amazing, restaurant quality as always. People were there, had a great time. I love that committee. I love that event. They're going to have it again at this year's gala. People were there having a great time. Past President Brian Adams. Look closely, ladies and... Okay. Okay. Look at that. Yes. Past President, yeah, there's something missing, Past President Brian. Now, what's particularly alarming about this is that it was just a few months ago that where is Past President Brian? We were singing the praises when we had your son up here who faulted in the same way. Past President Brian, do you have anything to say? Do you have? Are you guilty, or what say you? But you were not wearing it throughout the evening. You took it off when you arrived. Is that my understanding of the facts? Oh, yes, yes, yes. You're absolutely right. Yes, exactly. Now that's a twofer. I like that. You got double the fine there. You're certain. Jim's off in Morocco, so we even find when you're not here, folks. You got to have that pin on. So that was a great event, and thank you, Past President Brian. Okay, we also had the International Feast. I don't know which was an amazing success. It was at the Gordon House. It's an annual event. It was well attended. They had music. They had great food. I think they raised close to $10,000 for the projects of that committee. So, great event. We got things coming up. After today's meeting, the San Jose State Committee is walking over to do a tour of the campus. These are some of the spots they're going to hit. They'd love to have you join if you've got a little time for that. The Veterans Day Parade is going to be on November 11th. I'm going to be there. I hope you'll be there too. The parade starts at 12. I think there's a gathering at 10:45, but come on out and support Rotary there. And I also want to say that talk about Bob Keefe's Thanksgiving program, which is coming up. I don't know, Lee Weimer's great program. Right up there with Lee Weimer's program is the Bob Keefe Thanksgiving program, where roughly a dozen Rotarians come up to the podium and in 2 minutes or less talk about someone or something for which they are grateful. It is a powerful, inspirational meeting and tradition. If you're interested in sharing some of your gratitude at that meeting, reach out to Lenore, who now runs that, and I look forward to that meeting. Don't miss it. It's a great meeting to bring guests and friends. So we've got that. I do also want to say that the ski committee is heading off to Hyatt in Grand Vale in January. I believe they have 2 rooms left still, 2 rooms left. So reach out to Cindy. and go online. You can see where you can do that. Always a blast. You don't have to be a skier. Tons of fun. I'm going to get there one year. Unfortunately, not this year, but I'm going to get there one year, so that's great. Next week's speaker is Aileen Jan Mohammed, President and CEO of the Bay Area Host Committee, coordinating the Super Bowl, the FIFA World Cup, and other sporting events. That sounds like it's going to be fabulous. And today we've got Dr. Maya Ackerman, co-founder of Wave IA and professor at Santa Clara University. And Dave Callan's going to give the introduction. Show some love to Dave, folks.
Thank you, Matt. So it is my true pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Maya Ackerman. Maya is a world-renowned expert in artificial intelligence and creativity, and a prominent figure in both the technology and creative industries. So as the CEO and co-founder of Wave AI, Maya led the development and launch of Lyric Studio, an AI-powered songwriting assistant that helps creators express themselves. She is also a professor of AI at Santa Clara University, where she is helping to shape the next generation of innovators. Her academic work is recognized globally, and her most recent book, published just this month, is available for sale in the lobby. Sorry. It's called Creative Machines, AI, Art, and Us. And as a thought leader in AI, she is a frequent keynote speaker with venues including Google, IBM Research, Oxford University, Microsoft, the United Nations, and most importantly, the Rotary Club of San Jose. So with that, please join me in a warm Rotary welcome for Maya Ackerman.
Thank you. I started learning piano when I was 8 years old. Like most people, I learned how to play the classics, Bach, Schubert, and the likes. Into my late 20s, when I started performing piano and vocals, I got tired of playing other people's music, singing other people's words. And so I wanted to improvise, I wanted to compose, but it just wasn't working for me. I would try and nothing would come out. I would feel intimidated. I would hate everything that was coming out of me. Until one day, in 2018, I was at a computer science conference, the International Conference on Computational Creativity, and my late colleague, Robert Keller, was there. And he had a system named Improviser, available for free till this day on the Harvey Mudd website. And what I could do with it is I would play something on a little attached piano, and it would respond to me. And we would go back and forth like that. And I stayed there for 2 hours, missing a whole bunch of talks. And for the first time in my life, in this situation with no judgment, playing with an AI system, I found myself improvising. And that experience, that early experience, shaped the way that I look at generative AI. In my own research, I was focusing not on improvisation, but on composition, which is not that different. One of my earliest experiences watching how AI can impact other people's creativity was in this very city, in San Jose. For a year, I held a position as a professor at San Jose State University, where I met James Morgan, who works there in the arts department. He's a conceptual artist. He makes all kind of fascinating stuff, but he's not a musician. He doesn't play a single instrument. Does not play a single instrument. By the way, this seems like an odd comment, but he also doesn't speak Italian, which becomes relevant in a moment. He always wanted to compose an Italian aria. So he tells me this, and I say, okay, great, I have this songwriting system. We'll retrain it for you on the open domain works of Giacomo Puccini. See what you can do. Now, this wasn't Suno or Udio. This was very rudimentary. He would type a text of Italian words, one sentence, translated by his student who did speak Italian. And then the system, which we called Robocini, would translate it for him into music. So he would get different melodies for these different Italian phrases, but little tiny phrases. And this man, within a few months, learning about melody only through Robocini, composed a beautiful Italian aria, which I had a chance to perform and which was showcased through video all over the world in various museums, including San Jose here. And it was, if you could see that dragon there, it was an aria set in World of Warcraft, with the main character riding this dragon around town. It was fascinating. So I was genuinely surprised how far my AI system could assist someone else in their creative pursuits. In my own professional work in late 2017, I opened Wave AI, one of the earliest Gen AI startups, and we succeeded on our third product. Like many startups, it's called Lyric Studio. And we've learned that it's really all about supporting the user. So instead of giving people lyrics, you know, because clearly if somebody wants help, that means they want you to kick them out and do it instead of them, right? That's what a lot of Gen AI systems today would have you believe. So no, ours has a big text box where you write the lyrics, and if you're ever stuck, in the beginning, at the end, at every line, hardly ever, whenever you're stuck, it gives you ideas just for the next line, just enough to get you going, based on what you wrote so far. So this product ended up becoming a success. But what I wanted to share with you is that a lot of our users have told me that they become better pen and paper lyricists as a result of using our system. So it's very different from the addiction model that we often hear about in technology. AI can be the opposite of that. So, you know, I was sort of operating in this Gen AI world with my colleagues and friends, with my co-founders, you know, with these special investors who believed in us early on, while the rest of the world could not care less about generative AI. And it was wonderful. We were imagining this bright future. And then one day in November of 2022, an email drops in my mailbox from one of my investors asking about Stability AI. Maya, what do you think about this company? Everybody's talking about it. So I look into it. Anybody here remember Stability? Nobody even remembers them anymore. But they were really the tipping point for investors. They got an investment of $101 million in November of 2022. And the investment ecosystem woke up to Gen AI before ChatGPT. That was the order of events. And in early 2023, investors already decided what they wanted to do with Gen AI. I know it firsthand because it was in conversations that I had with them, and everybody was happy to speak with us because we were early to the space. And the plan was to use Gen AI to replace human labor. Okay? In music and otherwise. And by now, we know that it's going in this direction. By now, it's pretty obvious. You know, recently, 600 people got laid off Amazon, and we've had a lot of other waves of firing people from major tech companies. But the pain is starting to be felt across different industries. I'm not a doom and gloom person at all about AI. I think it's fantastic. But I think it's also devastating that the main vision that we're going after is to displace human workers. And it comes from the top. It comes from the investors. So, okay, what's happening in the creative industries? Just a quick update for you on that front. Right now we have AI musicians. So they're not fully automated, but a lot of important pieces of AI musicians are actually starting to be automated. There are all kind of studios eager to sign these AI musicians. We have AI actors. The technology is not even there, but we already have a lot of excitement among certain people for AI actors. And I really struggle with that. I really struggle with the idea of replacing creatives. You know, of all industries, I can't see how we're creating a better world by replacing human creativity. And so where do we go from here? Appreciate it. So where do we go from here? What's an alternative? I'm not under the illusion that people are just going to take my ideas and run with it, but there is an alternative path, and to whatever degree we follow this alternative path, we can counter the other forces that want to replace human creativity. So through the 3 experiences that I told you about, my own experience learning how to improvise and compose with the help of AI, watching what happens to James, which I thought was just surreal, being able to write an Italian aria by himself as a non-musician, and then seeing the impact of technology designed to elevate on our own users, I know that there's another way. So I call this humble creative machines. Machines that are designed to profoundly elevate people, machines that make us better even if electricity goes off forever, and we never again get to use AI, we still will become smarter, more creative as a result of having used it. So that's the world that I would like us to build with AI. That's the reality that I would like to see more money invested in, more effort poured into. And it also requires believing in human beings. We are right now, we're not at the top of human capability. Humans have always become smarter. We've always become more creative over time. We have not reached the pinnacle of human ability. We haven't. We know that for a fact. We know that because in certain psychedelic states, people become far more creative than they are otherwise. That's just one example. But it's also absurd to imagine that for some reason in 2025, that's as good as we can do. And so this whole idea of bringing in machines who are now going to take over creativity for us requires a certain giving up on us, which is really unwarranted. So I talk way more about this in my book. This is really sort of the main message of how do we go there, how do we create this world where humans continue to thrive, particularly where human creativity continues to thrive. So that's the main part of the book. But then as I was writing it, something happened. I had this vision, let's make sure that, of a woman with flowers coming out of her. Let's see if it shows up on the screen. Yeah, here we go. This is not the vision. This is one of my 200 attempts to bring it to life. So while I was writing the last part of the book, I spent a ton of time making this art, collecting flowers, drawing images of women, combining them in different ways. A few weeks into this, I wondered, what am I doing? I have a book deadline. Why am I making this art all of a sudden? And then I sort of understood that there was another message that I was neglecting to share, which is that there are limits to how far AI should go. And again, I say it as somebody who loves technology. There are limits, there are places where we should not be taking it, because there are things that are more important and more sacred than technology could ever be. And so I decided to do something a little bit risky today. And from this entire AI book that I wrote, I decided to read to you a couple of pages specifically about this. It's a little vulnerable. I hope you like it. Okay. Our greatest creation. In our race to build artificial intelligence, we've forgotten something essential. We already know how to create life. And it's harder, messier, yet more sacred and valuable than anything made from code and silicon. In my early 20s, I lived in my head. I was a classic academic overachiever, studying computer science, diving into theoretical foundations of machine learning, and preparing for a PhD. I believed intellect was the highest form of human expression. Then I met David, the love of my life, and we decided to have a child. I haven't really thought about pregnancy. I assumed it would be easy, something the body just did while I continued to do the important, difficult work with my mind. True story. Before I had time to make sense of any of it, the first trimester hit like a tidal wave. Nausea, exhaustion, disorientation. It's not in the book, but for the first time in my life, I asked for an extension on an assignment as a first-year PhD student. But there was something else, too, something deeper, a force unlike anything I'd encountered in all of my years of research. It overtook me and demanded everything, physical, emotional, spiritual. I was creating life. And it was every bit as immense and difficult as that phrase suggests. I remember telling my mostly male classmates that pregnancy is harder than research. They stared at me in disbelief, but I still stand by it. Creating life is harder and more profound. And yet this act, the most human, most awe-inspiring act, gets less status and less wonder than our machine building. We talk about AI as if it were the pinnacle of creation. But what could possibly be more miraculous than bringing forth a conscious, living, breathing human being? When I look at my son, I don't see just intelligence. I see joy, curiosity, sorrow, and wonder. I see the full, rich range of a human being. No matter how much pride or affection I feel for the AI systems I built, and I do, they will never compare. And anyone who has built intelligent machines and also held their child should understand this in their bones. We're so quick to revere artificial intelligence. We're willing to risk mass unemployment for it. We're willing to destroy ecosystems to train yet another large language model. We're willing to let go of the real in pursuit of the artificial. It's time to remember what matters. AI can be powerful, beautiful even. It can enhance creativity, increase efficiency, open up new worlds. It deserves our respect. But it should never be confused with creation, not the kind that grows fingers and lungs, not the kind that wakes you up in the middle of the night crying or laughing, not the kind that holds your hand when you're old. Let the machines do what they do. Let them help, support, extend. But don't ask them to replace the greatest creation of all, because they can't. And because they shouldn't.
Ackerman, thank you so much. We can have time for some questions. If the folks with the traveling mics could go. If you have a question, please stand up. You got the microphone there, okay. Let's start off with past president Carl right here.
Oh, hey, Meg. Hey, President Matt. Thanks for that, and thank you for the speech. I wanted to ask you, about 2 years ago, Arthur Weisbrot there forced me to read a book, Brave New Words. It was by that book by Salman Khan about the profound effect that AI could have on the education, even K through 12. Is it having do you see it as having a profound effect? I read the book and I couldn't believe it. That's my first introduction to AI, and since then I use ChatGPT all the time. But what is the impact to date of what's going on K through 12 with AI? Do you know?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most, one of the biggest challenges we have with AI right now is around education. Can you still hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, great. Young people especially tend to have this belief that AI is the all-knowing oracle. I call it the all-knowing oracle myth. Us adults are a little bit more protected from that. We've lived long enough to not trust things too blindly, but kids don't have these kind of defenses. And so we are still seeing a lot of sort of atrophying skills. But school teachers, excuse me, they're catching up. They are learning how to deal with it. They're starting to give assignments that are explicitly with AI and explicitly without AI. And I do have hope that we'll be able to teach our kids to believe in their own intellect enough so that they don't pass it on to the machine. So I think we'll get there, but it's a bit of a transitionary period right now.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the way that you talked about limitations of AI and your embracing of more structure and limits on AI. And I'm curious, as someone who sees AI as just a tool, not a replacement of my work, and I have some pretty strong measures for my own company and the ethics, we write it into our contracts as an example. I'm curious from your perspective, what are some of the specific boundaries for folks who maybe aren't as familiar with AI that we should be mindful of as users, how we interact with AI?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is this issue of trust. Almost all problems with AI happened when humans sort of pass on the baton to the AI. That's how we get AI slop, how we get poor work. It's how we get misinformation spreading. If the AI gets something wrong, then the user might believe it, they might publish it in an article, they might put it in a report. And it's all, it's all completely unnecessary. So we tend to get mad at the AI companies. We tend to sort of get mad at the AI itself, perhaps. But that's misleading because, well, that's a whole other talk. But the AI is never going to be perfect. It's always going to make mistakes. It's just like human beings are never going to be perfect and are always going to make mistakes. That's the nature of, that's how this kind of thinking mechanism works. And so the most important work is in education, is teaching people to understand that this is a wonderful tool, but that it has a lot of limitations. And I think that's how we get ethics.
We're going to go over Karen Fox right over here.
Hi, this is a very interesting conversation. I love your topic. I was wondering how much did you use AI to write your book? And also, I use AI a lot, and I feel myself getting dumber every day. And for example, I'm wanting to write a research article, but I'm afraid that, what is out there that hasn't been written because most people have used AI as well? So yeah, maybe help me through that, like writers and AI.
Okay, so I can tell you my own journey. So this was my first time writing a book of this sort of magnitude. I wrote a little one 10 years ago on a different topic. And so I was pretty excited to try to see how ChatGPT could help me. And for like a month, I fought with it, and it just slowed me down. And then I got this really great advice, and I got the same advice from everybody. That's how I knew it was the right advice. Just sit and write. Don't worry about mistakes, just sit and write, get it out of your head. But then I had two different editors, a development editor and a different editor go through my book. And that's when I turned on the AI again. And what I did is I got one of the critique bots, just a bot that criticizes your writing. And it was really good. It gave me a lot of feedback that I appreciated. Like it noticed issues that were real. And some of the feedback I didn't agree with. And then using that feedback, I would then go back and modify the writing. So that's how I found it to be most helpful. And then sometimes to rephrase a line, to look at like 10, 20 different ways to rephrase the same sentence. So it did not save me any time. It actually extended the writing by a couple of months, but I think it made the book better. So that's kind of a lens to consider. We're so stuck in this idea that AI should save us time. Machinery is all about efficiency, more, faster, faster, faster. But Gen AI can actually be used to create better work instead of faster work. And that's often when it also makes us smarter, when it also pushes us in the right direction. Yeah. There's so much more that can be said about this. It's a great topic.
Yes, President Fernando.
Thank you. With all your experience, your education, and your passion, what guardrails would you like to see imposed on the use of AI?
I appreciate you asking it so directly. It's important. Kind of going back to some of my thinking in the first two responses, I think the most important guardrails have to be inside of our own heads. I really do, because the people building the AI have very, very, very little control over it. So they try. Once there is a problem, a specific problem that happens, then they make sure that that specific problem doesn't happen again, but then a different problem happens tomorrow. Because we're building brains. When you're building a brain, just like when you have a child, you have some impact, you have a lot of influence, but you don't fully control what that human being does. And it's actually kind of the same with AI. I don't necessarily want it to be like that, but that's how it is. And so as a result, the best thing we can do is educate the population, educate our children, that this is not a god, this is not an all-knowing oracle. Don't believe everything it says. It's just a point of view, maybe a point of view impacted by whatever the CEO of that company wants you to believe. Or maybe just mistakes that the machine makes, right? Just because it's right on a whole bunch of stuff doesn't mean it's always right, just like with a smart person. So I think we really, really have to reset our expectations because, well, even if we do put guardrails, these companies dance around them so well because they're so powerful. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
As a business owner who employs incredibly smart people, I was excited to arm them with AI so we could extend their reach and get more done and capabilities. But I keep seeing this undertow. They keep asking AI questions, using the suggestions that's coming from the AI, and they seem to stop thinking. We're on our third set of AI policies now at my company. And I'm curious, how do you explain to students that what we really want is to educate them? We don't just want the answer, but we want the person to weigh in and make the decisions. I want AI to augment, but not replace. So your ideas would be appreciated.
Maybe what we need is a little bit more examples showing people where AI falls short, where collaborating with it is actually beneficial. So when it comes to any sort of deep expertise, in virtually any domain, human beings are still ahead. And then there's also the issue of preference and opinion. There is no such thing as objective truth, right? Like we know this with politics. I might believe that how I see the world is objective truth, in terms of politics, but it's probably not. Like if I believe this, that's objective truth is something that we almost can never reach, and our students need to sort of fall in love with that process of knowledge seeking, which AI could never provide to them. Yeah, there's a lot. I think it's really sad when people kind of give up and stop thinking. I had a student, when I gave an assignment to the whole class, and it's an assignment I gave over decades, to come up with a project idea, an original project idea. And I could tell he used ChatGPT, the ideas were terrible. And when I told him, they were so bad. He's not good at everything, and that's fine, right? Like, it's okay that it's not good at everything. And so I told him, please don't use ChatGPT. And he stared at me blankly, like he had no idea what I was asking him to do. How can he possibly not use ChatGPT? And the idea he ended up coming up with, I could tell was still with ChatGPT. He just refused to let go. I think that comes from science fiction, right? In science fiction, they show us these machines that are so much smarter than us. So much smarter than us. We have no hope. That's not what's happening. And yet we believe that is what's happening on some level. And those are the people who are sort of the most in trouble, those who fall for this myth. Because the employees who use AI the way that you're describing, they're not going to create great work, right? Yeah, it's a mindset. We need to actively work to counter that science-fi-based mindset.
Good time for one more. Clarence, love to see you in the house here. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Fabulous presentation today, truly. Thank you very much. So as I think about AI, I just can't think of an instance in our evolution where intelligence hasn't prevailed. It prevails over size, it prevails over speed, it prevails. And so if that premise is true, I just wonder if you are concerned about that as AI continues to develop. Thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of faith in humanity to keep believing in us when the machines are as capable as they are today. For example, text-to-image models. How many of you tried Midjourney or ChatGPT for images? So a lot of people played with it. If you haven't, please do. It's fun. So you type a sentence and you get an image. Type another sentence, get another image, and often it's magnificent. We can be picky, but overall it's amazing. And in a matter of seconds, it creates this amazing art, so much better than humans. No, not so much better than humans, okay? If you have a person, on certain psychedelics, certain people, actually a lot of people, can create images faster, more agile than these text-to-image models. These text-to-image models have not surpassed us. Same with the text-to-video. It's just the way that we're able to access our minds does not readily lead to behavior like that. But it's in there, the capacity is in there. So it takes real belief in human ability to not be intimidated today, right? And I think even as the machines get smarter, if we believe in ourselves, if we keep pushing ourselves forward, if we use this AI to make ourselves even smarter, design AI systems that are geared towards that, we're going to stay ahead. We'll be just fine.
Dr. Maya Ackerman.
Okay, let me set this down.
Okay, thank you so much. That was terrific. All right, thank you, Maya. Okay. The vote results are in. I will share them with you now. The motion to approve and go forward with Diane Brandenburg as part of the Seeds of Peace Monument has passed. We are going to be forming a Seeds of Peace committee in Rotary. And if you are interested in serving on that committee, there's going to be various subcommittees from fundraising to landscaping to programming. I encourage you to reach out to Leslie, to myself, or to Kimberly Mulcahy. In fact, they have the first meeting in Optimistic Thinking is going to be occurring on November 6th. So please reach out to any one of us and attend that meeting. And all I can say is let us move together in unity and in service. And with that, yeah. It's okay. The motion passed. There will be a Rotary Seeds of Peace monument in downtown San Jose. Do we all hear it? Okay, there we go. So with that, we'll take a little break from our usual country music because it seems appropriate. We're going to have Peace Train by Cat Stevens. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.